Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday morning. Today we have a very exciting round of Flick Steak with the producer of Delhi Crime. It's a huge honor for all of us. The Delhi Crime has won the International Emmys for Best Drama Series 2020. Hello.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Finally. I'm good. How are you?
I know. How are you doing?
Good. Sunday morning is difficult to wake up because of the Saturday night that just went by.
What are you doing Saturday night? Partying? Congrats
Partying.
on video. Congrats to Uncle. Great job.
Thank you. Congrats to all of us. And firstly, congratulations to you guys for this massive and this huge honor. Winning the Emmys is not a small thing. And especially for a cause like this, I think it's just the voice above that's, really kind of pushed you guys ahead and brought this recognition. And especially in this year when, the perpetrators also got justice. We got justice. India got justice. Nirbhaya got justice.
Yes.
How do you
Yes.
feel? How do you feel to get, you know, receive the recognition? And of course, I think you guys won when the verdict came earlier on this year.
Yeah, the verdict finally, with after all the appeals and everything that was going on, came through and finally justice was served. And I know it's a mixed bag of emotions for a lot of people, but I think for the right reasons, it was something that I stand by and feel, that a chapter came to an end. So that was good.
It was like a closure, like a full circle.
It was totally, yes, it was.
Hey, Apu's also here. Congratulations, Apurva,
Can we get her to join?
to the entire team. We'll write to Instagram that we now need to have more guests come live. It's only two.
Oh, really? Okay, then we'll do a separate chat with her after
Absolutely.
this. Yeah,
Absolutely.
super.
So we received
How's-
a lot of questions from our viewers, our friends, all across Instagram and on personal chat also. I am going to be sharing those questions with you. And but first, I want you to share a little bit about Filmkaravan.
What? Yeah.
I know the boring stuff. Let's get it out of the way.
Okay. No, it's not boring. It's
It's
life.
good
It's
stuff.
very exciting stuff. I mean, Film Caravan started in 2007 when I was working at the Indian Film Festival, the IAC in New York, and we used to work the whole year round to show these amazing films. And it just used to break my heart because in 5 days there were 30 films and people just were not able to see everything, all the beautiful gems. And I think from there came this thought to make these films available year round all over the world, anytime anybody wants to watch. And this was a time when digital distribution was, at, I wouldn't even say at a nascent stage, it was not there at all. And yet we started off, and our first release was a film called Sita Sings the Blues by Nina Paley. Absolutely still adore that film. My Gmail icon is still from that film. I'm a huge supporter. And what followed from there was, an entire journey of films like Superman of Malegaon that Feza made. And because I think I was in the midst of all these amazing, super talented filmmakers, it sort of, transpired in a way that we delved really deep into bringing these beautiful independent gems that didn't get theatrical releases, did festival rounds, and then literally, were gone, that we made it our mission to create a platform. And this was before, I think, even Netflix and Amazon was streaming content. It was the days of the discs. And I think in 2017, it was like a decade of doing that. And we had reached, some of the biggest and the best films, from working with, production houses like Yash Raj, Dharma, Excel, to, amazing content like Bahubali and Saho recently. And with that came the power to be able to, also push these independent films much further along with these platforms vying for Indian audiences and growing internationally. There was sort of an understanding and acceptance of this content. So that was really the core of what Filmkaravan started off, and still is doing, and we're very proud of it. From presenting, the Mami Selects at Tata Sky, to having our content distributed across 40 different platforms, from Mubi to, Dish to Amazon, Netflix, obviously YouTube, iTunes, and just like suddenly that vision of being able to bring a title that was inaccessible to the whole world was coming true. So yeah, Sanjay and I worked tirelessly on that in the initial years, and once the platforms came through, and then Apurva was part of the team, who was, literally just the person with, looking for the best content out there that we could do. We produced a short film for Payal Sethi called Leeches that won the national award. That was like a very recent, like, Filmkaravan had produced her first short film called Grand Street Shaving Company, which both are available on Amazon, by the way. And we really liked the idea of being able to support these voices that want to tell interesting stories, not just once they were finished, but also really be a part of that journey from an early on process. So that's how it happened. And
I know, I remember telling me about this, and it was just like, because at that time, digital was, like you said, was not so present in the Indian market, so to say. And
yeah,
the content that Filmkaravan is actually giving a voice to, or giving a platform, is amazing. Sometimes I feel content is a very a small word to kind of convey the kind of the storytelling that's happening, or the the stories that people want to share. It's just so amazing that how different kinds of genres, subgenres, stories, ideas are coming out. And I just feel that I could replace the word content with something more deep and more profound. My struggle is still on, but I think it's just an amazing platform to kind of have that vision, to have that
mm,
mission, fulfill it.
yeah,
And I remember Amal also, like Richie's film. It was just, I didn't know that, Filmkaravan has onboarded that. But when I saw it, it was just, and everybody kept telling me that, have you seen Amal? Have you seen Amal? And I'm like, wow. And it is a great film, guys, to watch out. I mean, of course, Richie is behind it. And now getting back to Delhi Crime. So, like I said, we received a lot of questions. So I would try to kind of incorporate all into
I feel
this.
I feel like that Aapki Adalat kind of a show. Like, take it
No, no,
easy. You can just chit
you,
chat also. You
yeah,
don't have to bill me.
so inquisitive. Everybody's like, "Kaise? But kaise? Kya socha? Kya matlab? Kaise? Kaise? Kaise?" So it was like, I thought maybe let's just get people to know more about what was the journey behind Delhi Crime, and how this entire Ajitesh, great, absolutely great job, everybody, the entire team, everybody,
Yeah,
each and every person, behind Delhi Crime is well deserving of this recognition, of this
yeah.
award. So the first question is by Tapeshwari Sharma, and she's saying, "What made you decide on producing Delhi Crime
Um,
stories?" But if you could,
Condense it. Why? Do we
because
limit on?
Instagram will shut us off after an hour automatically.
Um, how did it happen? We had already, sort of started planning on wanting to create the, content from an early stage. Apurva was looking at a lot of material. One of the first projects that we started off on was Megha Ramaswamy's feature film called What Are the Odds, which released earlier this year on Netflix. And I think what drew us and Apu to, the whole concept was that it was just this amazing, unique voice. And that was exactly the spot we wanted to be in. We wanted to do something that, to be honest, needed more guts than, the traditional methods of this industry had sort of set. And we had started production on that. So we were already in the midst of that when the long story of how Delhi Crime came through was because in 2007, I was in Toronto where I met Richie for the first time because Amal was showing at the Toronto Film Festival. And I was just a festival programmer. And he was scalping tickets. He was like, go watch my film. And this little kid, and I was like, you're the director of a film at Toronto. What are you doing scalping tickets outside the theater? And he's like, I want everyone to see it. And so I went and saw, and you know how in networking parties you meet people and they're like, what did you see? What did you love? And I said, oh my God, I love this first feature of this guy, Richie Mehta. It's great. And he's like, I'm a distributor from India. And at that time, for independent films to get distribution was one of the, things. You wanted a distributor to come on board because it would give a life to the film beyond the festival. And that gentleman, I'm not going to name him, but told me and bumped into me the next day, and he's like, oh, I bought the rights for Amal. And so I told Richie, I'm like, yay, amazing. I love the film. I told this guy, he bought the rights. And unfortunately, he never released the film. He never did anything with it because for whatever reasons. And so Richie and I had this joke running where he said, you got my film sold to the wrong guy. And I said, look, I'm sorry. I didn't know. I had no idea what his intentions would be. But I promise you, when you get your rights back, I'll distribute your film. I promise. And so 2017, 10-year rights were expiring. And I pinged him and I said, where's your film? I believe the rights are coming back. So give it to me. And I want to be able to distribute it now. I'll put it on Netflix, Amazon. It's a 10-year debt on my soul that I want to be able to clean off. And so we started talking on that. And then he said, hey, since you're producing Megha's film and now you're producing, I've written something, would you care to read it? And I was like, I don't know, what is it? Sure. And he gave us his 4 years of research that he had done on the case. And Apurva and Vedant were the first two people who read overnight the entire material, which was like 400 plus pages. And they absolutely were moved. They were, moved to the point where she literally said, you have to read this, we have to do this. So kudos to her because, it was her first reaction of reading this and, basically putting that fire in the belly to say, we got to do something. It wasn't easy, but, from that point on, once I read it too, and we're like, we have to do this. This is something so important. I don't care what the life and the trajectory of the show becomes, but this needs to be done because so many of us around the world knew about this case. We knew this case from media. We knew only about what was fed to us. We all had our own sort of anger and resentment and frustration, not only because of why it happened, but how we thought it was dealt with, how we thought justice was not, sort of served at the right time by the right people. And we had no idea the Delhi police had worked so tirelessly, led by Chaya Sharma, to bring these perpetrators, not only in a matter of 5 days, capturing these 6 men from around the country, but really leaving no stone unturned. And I think to know that story, it became like a mission to get that story out because nobody had told that story. Nobody had learned of that story. And I think that story gave hope. That story cleared so many things in our mind for what we didn't have answers for before. And from there on, it was literally, every single person that came on board was moved by the material, was moved by Richie's vision, and the financiers, the producers, the HODs, the team, the cast, the crew. I mean, Apu basically put this whole thing together in a 28 days of pre-production, and we were off. And we'd never done something of this scale before, but it had its own paths. Like I say, I've stopped questioning what the universe has planned for us because it's always more beautiful than you imagine, and it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Absolutely, every bit of it. And moving on, that kind of clarified the first question. So Rohini, Talkchild, she absolutely loved the series, and as a mother, she was angry, she was upset and scared, and so the series really brought a kind of a little bit of a like that whole reassurance that this voice is heard, and that considering that she also has two daughters, you know, it was something like you really you felt good after watching. You know, at first it seemed like, oh, it's very scary, but once, you know, there may be scenes, there may be depictions, there may be, you know, episodes which are kind of a little, you know,
Uh,
gory, or that would kind of, you know, disturb you or disturbing, but it wasn't. You know, it was made so respectfully, and so honestly. So basically her question is that, did you face any challenges with the family of the victim, like, you know, once you started out,
hmm.
what kind of obstructions or any kind of inhibitions or any kind of questions that they had?
Um, I think at the point when we came on board, Richie had not met the parents till then. He was working with the cops to get the facts and to create, you know, the blueprint for his story. And we all decided that we needed at least the blessings of the family. We needed them to be aware that we're doing this, and we needed them to be on board. That being said, you know, they've gone through so much that it was just impossible for them to understand where we were coming from and what we were doing. And I remember that the, you know, real cop on the scene who worked, which Rajesh Tailang plays so beautifully, the ACP on the case, which was Chaya's right hand person, Mr. Rajendra Singh. He called the parents to the office, to his police station, and introduced us. And none of us, unfortunately, between Richie, Apurva, me, all of us, we had to narrate the story to the parents in Hindi. And we tried to tell the whole story without using a single English word the night before. And we realized that just because of our conditioning, just because of, you know, where we come from, it was impossible. And we felt like we were not doing justice. And at that point, we called this friend Deepak Ramola, who was in Dehradun, who speaks Hindi like you could, you know, just keep listening.
Sure.
Which, by the way, who's learned it from Apu's mom, who was his
Ah,
teacher. And
yes.
he came down from Dehradun to sit with the family and tell them page by page, scene by scene, what we were planning to do. And I think that was really important for us. And they blessed it, and they said, you know, if the people who supported us, you know, Delhi police agrees with this, and they are backing you, and they agree that you're telling this in the right way, then sure, go ahead. You know, Jyoti hasn't lost her life in vain, and this story needs to come out for more and more people to find that understanding and, you know, the sort of justice that we all were seeking, which came through by retelling this from this POV.
Do they know that we like film the series has won the Emmys? Are they aware? Are they, you know?
I haven't been in touch with them, but I'm sure either Apurva or Richie have definitely been in touch, or, you know, Chaya ma'am or Rajendra. But at this point, you know, for them, this is not, none of us really went down this path with the idea that, oh, we're going to make something so amazing that'll win the Emmy. Like, the idea and the intention with which we made this, we were very happy once it released and it was received with the understanding that we had set out to tell the story. So yeah, this is beautiful and it's amazing. But yeah, it wasn't something which was like a sort
So
of
I the,
set.
the verdict came as a award for them, and this was probably just the icing on the cake, you know, for them.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure if they know, they'll be happy for us, but it's not something that, you know, unfortunately changes their life. They've lost their daughter, and they're just, you know, I'm sure at peace that, you know, the men who were behind it have been put to justice. So I think that really was the bigger thing. And yeah, I can't take any sort of points for making that happen. That happened because it happened. So yeah.
I think everything just kind of conspired. वो कहते ना, किसी को इतनी शिद्दत से मांगो तो पूरी कायनात. What
Shahrukh
is
Khan,
that? Shahrukh
my
Khan. Om
son.
Shanti.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That is what exactly happened. So yeah.
Also, when you picked this incident, I mean, of course, it was. I mean, this is quite a direct question, which I felt, you know, that needs to be answered.
Mm.
Did you pick the incident, or did Richie pick this incident for the popularity, or did the incident really, really affect him or you guys in any way at a personal level?
It affected each one of us. Without this show, just the incident itself, I don't know a single person who knew about the incident and wasn't moved by, you know, what had happened. It was just one of those defining moments which you will always remember where you were when you heard about this the first time. And for days and weeks to follow, you just had this unsettling feeling in your gut. Um, but that wasn't the reason why it was picked. It came through to Richie from the commissioner at that point, Mr. Neeraj Kumar, who had worked on it, who asked Richie to look into this and see if this was something that he could do justice to as material, because he knew everything that had happened internally, and he felt like it was something that should come to the world and it should be discussed. And people should be made aware of what the Delhi police went through and they go through on a daily basis. And so I think it wasn't that he went searching for something. It was just something that came and it made sense. And, we all were moved by the ability to tell something that can make a difference. And that's why it happened.
So, so how this question is coming from Anjali Swaroop, and she's saying, how long did it take to do the research? Because the series really shows extreme hard work
Mm.
and the tough life of the police. How we are so quick to judge. I think this was a sort of a redemption for the police force also in its own way, that how they
Yeah.
kind of tackled the case. So. Did any good also, this is the second part of the question, that did any good come out of it with respect to the police? Like, did they kind of come back to you in any way?
What was the first part of the
First,
question?
first was, how long did it take to do the research?
Oh, research. Yes. Okay. Richie researched this for 4 years. He originally thought that he'd want to make a film out of it. And then the material was just so rich and so dense that, it just wasn't doing justice to do this whole retelling in a film format. There were so many characters that had played a role. There was so many facets to what went into it. And from that point on, once we got on board, we had very little time for pre-production, like I mentioned, but we had the most stellar, the most amazing crew of people, from every HOD to the cast member. The amount of research that Smriti from costume and Johan, the DOP, Mandar, the art, to Shefali, Rasika, Yashaswini, Rajesh, every single person that came on board brought with them the fierceness to do this right. And we always had access to the people on the ground who actually solved the case. So at any point we could go back, and there was thousands of points when we went back to clarify, is it one stripe, two stripes, three stripes? It was just like, what goes on the walls, what's on the table, what's in the pocket, what's everywhere. The accuracy from each department head was just, salutable on its own way.
I remember you asking on one of us, like our school group, that guys, for some location, that this
Oh,
is the want and this is the thing that I want. And, we were all like, yeah, you could go here, you could go there.
there was a gate. There was a
It's
7 foot high black metal gate that needed to have a driveway and a place where a crowd can gather on the outside and people on the inside. And that gate had 8 people from the unit, including me, driving around Delhi, asking on every group possible for gates. And I can't tell you how many gates we found, and then showed, clips of those to Richie, because we had to recreate Safdajung. And yeah, just like that, everything. Like, imagine going, it's a gate. It's not even really visible in the scene. But it's, yeah, that was a level of madness that went into trying to do right by the material.
I know it was such a, like, every time I would speak to you, it would be like, ab ye ho raha hai, now we need to tackle this and we need to tackle that, but we will do it. That
Yeah,
whole of just not giving up, the relentless work that you guys have put in. And of course, like you said, the stellar team, the stellar cast, they've
yeah.
done mind-blowing acting. And so the actual characters, Was the personal life same as the actual characters, or that is fictionalized?
To some extent, the facts of the case were what we were most committed to
Like
being.
character, like the
Uh,
daughter comes.
no, so a lot of things were amalgamated from the learnings that Richie had. If somebody had someone sick at home, what do you do? And there's this one constable. The show starts with him and ends with him, and 5 days later, he brings medicine for his wife who was sick at home, and he never got a chance to go home for 5 days as he was working on this case. It's not like Chaya had a teenage daughter ready to leave the country, but these were some of the liberties we took to tell the story that we had learned. The character, that the cop that he's playing, he had some similarities in his life that were depicted. So it was a little bit of a mishmash for fictionalizing the personal lives, because a lot of these cops were really in active duty still, and so it wasn't really a portrayal of their exact personal life so as to give them that space, but it was
It
um,
was it was relevant. They were plot pushers. It was relevant to kind of
yeah.
have those
Hmm.
little stories revolving around.
Yeah.
So Anjali, another question, but I would keep it for the last. Um, so so
Anjali
what is
Swarup
most?
asked, मुझे role मिलेगा in your next project.
So
We
she's
all
asked. Now this
bodies
was
all the time on every season. So yes, at least if nothing else, you could be that person lying there with your head split open, or you know.
I can sing also, and I can consult. I can counsel the team also. So if there is any role for me, I was saving this question for the last, but she couldn't wait. It's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. We can definitely look at that.
So this question is again from Rohini, and then I'll move on to another question, which is a little like kind of part two. Part A was the most significant challenge that you faced while shooting.
Mm, most significant challenge. I think this was one of the challenges which was throughout the shoot. So it wasn't one incident of losing a location, or having a bad junior artist show up, but this was a challenge of every single day waking up and going to work, going to set to retell this story that really makes your gut wrench, and staying committed to it, however dark may it get, staying committed and true to it every single day. And literally, I'm telling you, it was almost like we had the spirit of Jyoti leading us on from day to day to day. Um, this would not have happened. It was magical how things that were impossible, that we didn't know what we were doing tomorrow, how we were getting through today, would just, sort of fall in place in this absolutely amazing manner that made it all worthwhile. So that
That you
was the.
every morning waking up with a fresh determination, with a fresh commitment that today we are not going to give up. Whatever comes our way, we are not going to give up. Absolutely. And the
Mhm.
part two is, which is the Monica Grover Aurora. She's asked this question: which is your favorite part of the series?
Mm. Has so many. It's like a baby, and you want to pick the favorite
I
finger.
one that tops it, but first you share.
I have too many. Why don't you tell me yours? Which one is yours?
So mine is, when Jyoti is giving her statement to
Yeah.
the law. I didn't move. I just couldn't blink my eye, and it was as though just she's talking to me. Like
Mm,
it just literally felt like that, and it felt that this from certain things just reach your heart at the deepest level. I think
mm,
that scene really was that. I mean, I can never forget it from in my entire life now, because it was at that moment that one feels that justice must prevail. It will prevail. That
yeah.
whole conviction that it will prevail.
Mm,
That's rather than, of course, you feel bad, you feel moved, you feel angry, and you feel that why did this happen, but at the same time the reality is that it has happened. So now what? Now the next step is that it has to find a voice, and it has to be redeemed, it has to find justice.
yeah. I'll tell you a few of my favorite ones. good and bad, happy and sad ones. I mentioned the Ram Pratap, the last scene of him coming back home. Um, that's one of my favorite scenes. I really like in a dark space, of course, Jyoti's statement, but also the Jai Singh Mridul's interrogation scene when they catch the first guy, and Shifali's reaction there. But more than that, that moment, like she's this hardened cop in front of the parents, in front of the doctors, in front of the home minister, everywhere she's like moved, but she keeps this sort of strength to
Yes.
move, brings her whole team together. But that last minute when she hugs Bhupinder, even though they're not supposed to, break down, it's a very beautiful moment. With Rasika, there's this one shot when she's walking with, Akash Dahiya, the guy she's supposed to, probably see that mother set up. And he says, "Hum phir milenge," and she just shrugs her shoulders. She's like, I don't know. I think for like months later, I was just like doing that to everybody as I talked. Yashaswini's character of the daughter, Chandni, being that voice of, question every single time. When she's sitting at that Buaji's lunch, says, I've applied to Toronto and I'm going, and she has not told her parents. Like, it's really, so strong with where they're coming from that, there's so many moments that just add up for me that make this really special.
You can't ask somebody choose which part of your baby you like. It really is about that. You like everything about it. One. Then okay. So you've answered this question. Sunshine asked this question that did you guys ever think that this making this series would get you an Emmy? I'm sure not.
It was a running joke, it was a joke on set. At least I heard this from 10 different people, and I would use this as an excuse to uh, answer any question that I didn't have an answer for, because when we were making, we didn't know which platform it would land up on. And at that time, everybody was like, asking, like, which platform are you making this for? Where is it going to be? And we didn't know because we didn't have a sale at that time. And so our running answer would be like, I don't know which platform, but we'll see you at the Emmys. We're making it for the Emmys. So like, it was just like, to get out of it. And um, never had we thought that this would, actually be coming true. But yeah, it was amazing how, the word Emmy was used very lightly at that time, because we never thought it really was going to happen.
How we say na Oscar जीतना है क्या इसके लिए? Like that. How we kind of just refer
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Never say never. Had
Never.
it been live, award ceremony, what would have it been like? Like, you know,
Nerve-wracking. I was just
no,
so happy that I was sitting in my pajamas at home watching with nobody, like, really, apart from a couple of friends who we were with,
that,
videotape. I was like, because we don't know. I mean, I everybody's like, don't you wish that you were there at the red carpet? I'm like, going to the red carpet and not winning versus sitting at home and winning
really.
this any single day. And it's such a big win for so many people, and not everybody could have been there. So I think it was actually a great thing that we were all at home and, everybody watching at the same time. And it was nice to, not have that ooh, nervousness.
I know this question you will dodge, but you could answer it in a way that satisfies the person who's asking.
Who's
So she's
asking?
asking season two.
Oh, we're celebrating Emmy when you
I
have to
know.
wait. You have to be patient. Imagine somebody was asking us before season one came out about all this. We'd be like, I'll see you at the Emmys. So now I'll be like, I'll see you at season two premiere, and then we can do another chat and then we can talk
Yeah.
about it. But yes, it's in the works. It's happening. And hopefully, we'll get through it very quickly once the world gets a little bit better.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So there was
So there's some questions coming also. Tapeshwari is asking. Auntie's here. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Hina. Wow.
and was Shifali the first choice to the first choice for the to play that role?
Uh, you know, b- um, we were we were sort of on the hunt, brainstorming as we always do, how about this, how about that. And we all knew that, this had to be somebody who could just not just come and play a character, but really believe, understand, and bring to this character, something from within. Like we needed a person who
Yeah.
we could think could be a Chaya in real life, with the grit and the determination and the passion that, and there's so many fabulous, talented actors that could have been, playing this. But I think very early on, and credit goes to this man, and I've told him on his face, we saw Neeraj's short, Juice, and I shared it with all the producers, and Shefali was just absolutely fantastic in it, and we just like died. We saw that, and we said, "That's it. This is Vartika." Like, and if she comes on board to do this, you know, we would know that this is happening. And I think Richie met Mukesh Chabra, called her and said, I'm sending this director, and she literally, I think, in the first 5 minutes of hearing the narration from Richie, uh, she was on, and we're so lucky, so lucky to have her.
I remember in one of the interviews, she said, I just didn't want it to end. I was so miserable that, the shoot ended and we all had to go our ways now. And
Yeah,
she said, I could just like stay on, with you guys. So
yeah.
I was, that really goes to show
But
the kind of tragedy that,
on set, she used to be so much character that, one day I came early on, first few days, I landed, I went straight on set, and I saw Shefali, and I waved at her, and she did this, and she looked away, and I was like, what happened? So I went to Apurva, I'm like, is she okay? Is everything fine? Like, is she mad? And she's like, no, 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 she's in character, don't worry. I'm like, no, I waved at her, and she just, just nodded or did something. She's like, yeah, just salute her and say, Madam Sir, and she's totally in character. And it was that. From day two onwards, we all just walked past her, even when she was not in a scene. She was just hanging, waiting for the setup, and we would all be like, Madam Sir. And she'd be like, hmm. And that was it for months. And only when we wrapped, we saw the bubbliness of the person inside that, broke out. And she was like, wait, now I want to hug you all, and I want to like stay here, and I don't want to go. Because throughout that shoot, she was not Shefali Shah, she was Chaya Sharma. She was literally, in that character in a way that I don't think she broke out of it at all. And she was Chaya Sharma of 2012 December, of those 5 days, and it was just amazing to see how she did that. But yeah, she's
and
amazing.
interesting to see that how the series has actually impacted globally, like
Mm,
how Geeta auntie mentioned on her one of her posts that she was in Bosnia at that time, and how she was at the hairdressers and they just broke down, everybody after hearing that story. And I remember I was, we'd gone for we'd come to you guys for a holiday in the US, and we went to, when we were in Vegas, this cab driver, I mean, in the entire world, this one person who we are sitting in the cab with, and he mentioned about Nirbhaya. And, it was like
wow.
everybody knew about this. This was 2013. So all
Mm,
the more that, this, now it's like, like it really is like when people hear about this news, it would be like, yeah, this person has got justice. And,
yeah,
there is some, the Delhi police does hold water. India does have a justice system. It does have a like a valid judiciary, that really metes out the correct justice at the right time. So it
yeah,
was a sort of a like a win for the entire country. It is a win for each and every person who knows about this case and who has been deeply affected by it. I think there's nobody who's not been affected by it. So I think it really is, you guys. It's like great karma that you guys have received, and
destiny was written.
yeah,
We had to be a part of this journey. I mean, how it happened and how it transpired, and we had our little bit of something to add to this, and we did. So yeah, really thankful.
amazing. Kudos to you guys. Kudos to Delhi Crime Team. You've done a brave and a fantastic job. We are all so proud of you and
Thank
really looking forward to season 2. Anything else that you want to say, Pooja, towards, the end? Anything that you want to, like a parting comment or something?
Namrata, you've seen me through not just the production of Delhi Crime when I came crumbling to your house in the middle of the night and you fed me mutton curry. This is before I became vegetarian on this set. But
Yeah.
but you've seen me for what, 30 years now? No, more, 35, 40. I don't even know. I'll give away our age. Let's not go back.
Yeah.
But I think I'm just getting very cognizant of the fact that everything happens in this universe for a reason. We meet people for a reason. Uh, we go our separate ways, not knowing when or how and why this little note of the journey today mattered. And, when it comes back 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, and you look back and you're like, oh, that's why this moment happened. That's why I had to go through this experience. That's why we had to learn this. And there's just so much that came through when we started this project, that from here on I'm just so grateful for everything in terms of what happens, positive or not so positive, because I just feel like there is a plan. There is a screenplay written for my life, and I am literally just waking up each day and those lines are fed, and I'm just going down that path. There's nothing that I question. There's nothing that I feel that is desirable or not desirable. And you just do your hard work, and if you're persistent and if you believe in something and you give it your all, then you'll find the tribe. You'll have the people that come together miraculously. I mean, Megha's film was our first film, and we literally wrapped that film in the morning, and Richie met all the people who were working on her film. She had put together this entire team. I mean, kudos to her. If it was not for the odds, we were not ready to do Delhi Crime. I mean, so there's so many things when you look back and you're like, everything led to the next thing. And you don't know that when it's happening at that moment. You look back and you're like, oh my God, this is now making sense. So I think I've just learned to be grateful for every little step of the way. And I hope that, from our little journey, everyone can see that and just learn to be grateful. This year has taught us to be so grateful. It's like, it's not what we wanted, it's what we have and what we got that, is just so much more better. Sorry, I'm going down like some.
No, it's fine. It's fine. To gratitude and to positive learnings, and
Yes.
to not question your dream, but to question your efforts. How committed you are and how dedicated you are is what matters.
Mm-hmm.
To keep that drive going. And so have a great Saturday. What plans?
Plans Saturday night with you. There's Code Purple here. I want to give a shout out to Ankur, who was with us on our first production of Grand Street on Payal's film. Thank you, Panti.
Uncle.
Ankur Bhatia, there's Sonali, who's literally been the backbone of, making sure I get to do everything that I'm supposed to do every single.
Tell me
Rohini's.
about it.
Thank you so much. Shifali is amazing. I agree. SG Sony, superstar. Thank you so much. Aruna Auntie, I hope you're feeling better. Thank you. Hina, I can't wait to just come and, be enveloped by all the beauty that you're engulfed with. The madness of, making all of those nights at your place just so much fun. I mean, your entire family has been a part of this, and I hope you know that. And huge thanks to Gotu, Vishal, Uncle, Auntie, who have fed me and made me
Oh
sleep
God.
in the middle of all these things when, I just didn't know where to start or stop. And
So we're trying,
it.
guys, we're trying to get her to come to India, but it seems she's really, really comfortable in her space now.
Yeah. असीम
Yeah.
छाता मुझे रोल चाहिए सर आप फेस्टिवल डायरेक्टर से लिटरेरी डायरेक्टर के पैनलिस्ट बन चुके हैं I mean what other feathers, and I believe you've already had your debut performance. So now we'll have to get you in a really gigantic role, maybe as a curator. Let me think of that.
Line for
Huh?
roles and हमारे को भी काम दे दो, पूजा मैडम हमारे को काम दे दो, अपूर्वा मैडम काम दे दो. Line लग रही है line.
Apu is the person for that. Shijin, thank you so much. But yeah, thank you for having me. And I'm sorry you kept asking me to do this for the last 2 months, ever since the nomination came, and I told you, just wait, just wait, just wait. The
Oh
much
God.
better one once, I have something nice to say. But yeah, so thank you for your
Cheers
patience,
up.
not killing me for the last 2 months for doing this. Because isn't this so much better? I can actually like freely, with a release of all the pressure, talk about how I actually feel. I was completely not in this space. Apu, cheers to you. You go,
Cheers.
babe.
Absolutely. Lots of love to you guys. Pooja, we miss you. And
I miss you
so
too.
soon. And
Yes.
lots of warm wishes and the best of luck to the future projects. And we are waiting with bated breath to see everything that Filmkaravan has to do and has to show us in front of us. Thank you.
On
Let's
it.
make great come alive, come true.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And I love you.
Love
And
you.
yes, we'll see you soon. Bye, Toshi. We will have, and you will be rocking it and playing the music for us. And we'll all get to celebrate all these wins of this year on both sides very soon.
Great.
Bye
Have
bye.
a great. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.